So as I was saying, I hate Matt Rife. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding that I hate him, but I'm kidding that that's not going to be the topic today. I feel like 45 minutes on one person that I severely dislike is enough for 1 month of podcast episodes. So that was episode 184. If you missed it, we're on to fresh new topics this time. But just let it go without saying that I despise him for what he said in his special, and I'm rooting for his downfall. But now we are on to fresh new topics, mainly this. If you say that you don't want drama in your life, you are either lying or boring. Everybody needs some drama in their life. It's too boring without it. The key is to foster the right kind of drama in your life so that it's fun and it's interesting, but you're not ending up in jail. That is really the perfect balance in life. And I'm going to tell you how to strike that balance. And I would say this matters a lot if you have kids, if you have teens. I've said on this podcast before that we have a shockingly low drama house, given the fact that I have 6 children. We live in 1,900 square feet, and 4 of my children are girls. They are all in a row. My oldest is a boy. Then we had 4 girls in a row. Then youngest is a boy. So we have 4 girls living in our 1,900 square foot little 3-bedroom house between the ages of 17 and 12 heading into 13. So essentially, let's count the 12-year-old as a 13-year-old. So I have 4 teenage girls in a small house at once. Very little drama. There's no yelling. There's no fighting. Low drama house. And I think that is because I foster a whole lot of positive drama. There's drama. It's just not between the sisters, and it's not usually between them and me. I'm not saying never, but very, very seldom. Because I'm constantly getting them wrapped up in drama in other areas of life, and then them with me as well. So this matters especially for parents, but even if you're not a parent, I think this is actually a really important topic that is not talked about nearly enough. We will talk about that. We will also talk about this wedding that happened. I'm going to talk about a wedding that I saw on social media. I'm not wedding content person. I blew off my own wedding. I wore a purple dress. We wrote our own vows. The ceremony was, I think it was 7 minutes long because we didn't rehearse it. In a perfect world, it would have been a little longer. I had no bridesmaids. We did not do groomsmen. We did not do a bouquet toss. I didn't even have cake at my wedding, guys. I just got bored with the planning process and I was over it. And when I saw the prices on, you know what it was? The prices on white dresses and on wedding cakes, they just jacked them up 10x. And I was like, I'm not paying 10x more for a dress that's not even in a color that looks good on me. So we foisted those high-minded principles on our wedding guests. We just had little bags of candy. That's literally all we had for dessert at our wedding. There was nothing else because I didn't want to deal with it.
Goals.
Yeah, we've always been crazy. So I'm not a wedding person. I couldn't care less about that whole thing. But this wedding caught my attention. I'm going to tell you about why it caught my attention and the crazy twists and turns. There are crazy twists and turns in this story, and I can't wait to tell you about it. So we just have a fine episode for you, and as usual, we will get to the main topic, that good drama topic. We will get to that in the second half of the show. As always, new listeners, welcome to the Jen Fulwiler Show. I am your host, Jen. We are coming to you from Austin, Texas. I am a stand-up comic, best-selling author, and mom of 6. Speaking of which, actually, my first book just hit 2,000 reviews on Amazon. Thank you for that. This podcast is where you learn the art of the village hustle. That's being a hot girl boss, or hot boy boss, and knowing that love and family and community are the foundations of all real success. Caitlin White is our lovely producer, and we publish new episodes every Wednesday without missing a beat. We are coming up on 2 years of never missing a Wednesday. And Caitlin has 4 kids and I have 6. And so we're managing 10 kids while recording these podcast episodes. So are we the best podcast in the world?
Yes.
I'd have to say yes. Honestly. I mean, what does Rogan have to do to put his podcast out? Like,
ice bath. I mean, that's about it, though.
Ice bath, smoke weed, shoot an elk with a bow, and then sip his scotch. Like that is his show prep. Caitlin and I, we've got to get food for all these kids. I set out juice boxes. We've got to make sure they're entertained. We've got to talk Joe into watching all these kids while we do the podcast. We are dedicated people, and we feel like we're not appreciated enough. So you know what? Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I read every single one personally. The other week, we didn't get any new reviews, so I got my little summary. It's like, here's your summary from your new Apple Podcast reviews, and there weren't any. Imagine, in the Christmas Story, there's Tiny Tim. And imagine Tiny Tim. He's a poor waif of a child, has lots of issues. He's disabled. He's just like this poor pauper of a child. And I don't remember that story that well, but I feel like at some point he gets something for Christmas. He gets a gift or something. And he's like, oh, my life is garbage, but I have this gift and it makes my little self so happy. Imagine Tiny Tim opening the box, but it's empty. That's me when I open this email that summarizes my new Apple Podcast reviews and I don't have any new ones. So get that. If you were ever thinking about not leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, just imagine Tiny Tim opening an empty box on Christmas morning. And that's me when you guys don't leave reviews. Literally, I'm Tiny Tim. Premium content on Patreon. We're very dedicated to the Patreon. At the Village Hustle level, content twice a week. At the After Party level, content once a week. And we really love the Patreon. And you get bonus content there just all the time. It's just like drops of water in the ocean. That is the excellence that you get on this Patreon. Patreon.com/thisisjen. And that link is in the show notes. I also want to say, I like to keep you guys up to date on my goals, my fitness goals, my life goals, my barely controlled alcoholism. And I've realized, I think I said a couple months ago that I was going to do I do intermittent sobriety. And I think I said that I was going to do a few months of sobriety. I've changed my mind on that to some extent because life is too hard for me. And I'm not saying that alcohol is a good coping mechanism for you. But for me, it's a great coping mechanism. So it's honestly making my life amazing. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
It's terrible, no.
It's not everything I dreamed it could be. Caitlin's trying not to drink right now. So no, Caitlin, it's terrible. You can watch me have a drink tonight and I'll be like, this is awful. Don't do it.
I'll be like, oh, it's terrible.
All right. So now, you know how a lot of people these days are California sober. That means they do not drink alcohol or do any drugs except for weed. That's California sober. I am London sober. I do not drink any alcohol except for Pimm's and lemonade. No drugs, no anything. I'm sober except for Pimm's and lemonade. That is, so we're going to make that a new thing. London sober. I'm London sober. I'm sober. I am. I'm just drinking a lot of Pimm's and lemonade right now. Listen, if my comedy friends can all do that, like, you know what it is? They all act like they are the Buddha, just glowing as they levitate with their own wisdom. And they'll sit in green rooms and be like, well, just personally, I find that my artistic balance with my career, I just really believe in sobriety and the benefits that it has on the human system. And I think that you should maybe educate yourself a little more, Jen. I think you need to educate yourself about the benefits of sobriety. And I'm like, you just smoked a big old fatty blunt before you said that. So stop lecturing me on your incredibly healthy lifestyle, because if California sober is really sober, then so is London sober. We're all sober here. I just had my third Pimm's and lemonade. You just smoked a blunt. We're all sober, okay? If we're going to play that game, I want in on it too. I have a few teenage listeners. I apologize for all this content. Don't grow up to be like me is the lesson. You should listen to this podcast to figure out what not to do. Yes, with your life. Okay. You guys don't even understand this wedding. Okay, her name is Madeleine Brockway. Her dad owned a bunch of car dealerships in Florida. Now she lives in Texas. That becomes relevant later. Her wedding has been going viral on TikTok. I need you to understand, we are about to get into something very multi-layered here. Stick with me. Don't even think about fast forwarding through this because you could just miss too much. There's too much going on here. Okay. Ultimately, I'm going to lead to a point. You can actually learn a lot about yourself by what you hate on social media. I'm going to lead to actually, I think, a really interesting point that could potentially be a guiding principle in your life. It's going to be a real, how is this podcast free moment. But first, I just need to set up this wedding. Caitlin, play the clip that we are about to play is from the high-end social media, not planner.
Content creator?
Yes, yeah. So for this wedding, on 24 hours notice, they hired an international high-end wedding social media content creator. So basically, it's rent a TikToker. They had this chick come out, and then she does like cell phone video. Because of course, they also had a videographer. With their budget on this wedding, it was probably Martin Scorsese who was there shooting their wedding. So of course, they had a regular videographer. But then they also wanted a content creator there. And she was saying, I don't think she said it in this video that we're about to play. In one of the videos, she said that some wedding people do that so that they can force their guests to put their phones away, but then there is still social media content. I don't want to say that the only purpose of weddings in this country is for women to be able to control all of their friends. Like, you have to wear this color and you can't use your phone during this time. So I won't say that. I would never make that statement because it would make me sound cynical about weddings. I think that's an interesting idea, actually, of all the things of the modern wedding industry. That's actually kind of an interesting idea, to just hire a professional TikToker to make your wedding look epic on social media. Not a bad idea. Okay, so the video you're about to watch is not from the bride. It is from the professional content creator, and you know she's expensive because she has a British accent. Go ahead and hit play.
Day 5
or maybe
as
it's
a luxury
Australian.
event content creator in Paris. The day started with the most beautiful bridal luncheon hosted by Dior. Dior then took us on a tour.
Pause it. We're to hang on. This is going to take us a while to get through this.
In there, but it was spectacular.
Did you hear that? Wedding luncheon hosted by Dior?
What?
Yes. Dior, like, so first of all, they are in Paris. You should know that for sure. They're in Paris. And this chick she's American. The bride is American. The couple is American. Do you understand that the average person cannot just go to Dior and have them host a luncheon for you? No. As rich as Caitlin and I are going to be in 2024, money will be no object for us because the comedy millions are just around the corner here. But even we, with as much money as we're about to have, we could not just go have Dior host a brunch for us because they have standards. I mean, I could even bang on their door and be like, look, money's no object to me. I'm rich. I'm famous. Listen, my last podcast episode got 78 views on YouTube. You don't know who you're going up against here. But they wouldn't care. They'd lock me out. They'd have security escort me out. They'd put me in some Paris jail. Not anyone can do that. So I'm like, well, how did they hook that up? Because normally they're kind of snobby about new money Americans. And her dad just owned car dealerships. I mean,
it's like anything special. I mean, like,
well, it's also, sort of, the new money, old money divide is like, if you're one of the Astors or the Rockefellers, it's like, you have to be able to trace the hardworking person in your family back 6 generations in order to be considered old money. You know, if someone in your family recently worked hard to make all this money, that is looked down upon by blue blood society. It's like you had to have either that hardworking person had to have been like in railroads in the 1850s, or in the case of the British aristocracy, you could just steal all the money from the Catholic Church. There are a lot of ways to be old money. So new money people, especially Americans, tend to be looked down on by old money institutions like Dior. So I'm just trying to figure out, do you know how much money she had to have to pay them off to look the other way on this? Okay, but this gets so quiet. You just wait. You wait until you hear this plot twist.
We ain't even there yet.
Okay, yeah, I know. We're only 10 seconds into the video. Keep playing it.
It's then time to head back to the hotel to get ready for tonight. Now, this room was designated for the bridal wardrobe and some of the guests' outfits too.
Pause
and
it.
We are ready for the rehearsal.
Do you understand that they got outfits for their guests? Guest wardrobe?
Oh, I didn't even catch that guest wardrobe. I was thinking like bridesmaids and stuff, but guest wardrobe?
Guest
Holy
wardrobe.
cow.
And you get jfonyoutube.com is where you can look up this video. This is episode 185. Search my YouTube channel for 185. jfonyoutube.com. You have to see this video. This hotel that they are in, it looks like a palace, and that is where they're having their hair and makeup done. And yeah, they bought designer expensive clothes for random guests. I've never been invited to a party where someone's like, Jen, what's your size? We need to get you $1,000 suit to wear to this thing. I like how they kind of imply that they're new money American friends. They're from Florida. Can you imagine what people might have shown up wearing? If they, I see it, you could, you got this Florida problem where it's like,
Hawaiian shirt.
Listen, I know y'all are planning not to wear shirts. So we're just going to have Dior create some nice couture outfits for you. We'll just pay for it. It's fine. We have a lot of money. Okay, so you guys have to look this. I'm not even trying to get videos to my YouTube. I don't care anymore. It's the holiday season. It's the season for Jen giving up on life and drinking Pims and lemonade. Okay, keep playing this insane video.
For dinner at the opera.
Look at this. This is at the opera. Okay, hang on. We have hot chicks and pause. We have hot chicks in dresses playing the violin. Okay. I don't care how much money you have. It's like, how many hot people play violin? Because it's these women in these dresses. You've got to, you can't have over a 19% BMI and fit into that dress. How do you, even if I had Elon Musk money, I'd be like, I just don't know if that many female hot fit size 2 violin players exist. Like, did they have to teach some people to play the violin? It's like, no, y'all are trolls. You're like a fat man. Like, obviously you can't be in our, and then there are enough flowers. This is an Amazon rainforest situation. This had an impact on the global environment. The amount of flowers they took out of the earth to put into this opera. Again, we haven't even gotten to the plot twist, to my fascinating take on this subject. We're just looking at this video. Oh, hang on. Let's give the whose TikTok is this on? What's this chick's name? It's Olivia and Living. She is the social media coordinator whose TikTok we are playing. Olivia and Living is who she is on TikTok, and she's the social media gal. So this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It is the most opulent money thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Okay, hot chicks and violins. Hit play. Look at that. This makes a Disney movie.
Yeah, I would say
look like it took place in a trailer park. More hot chicks playing violins. White gloved waitstaff. Playing Taylor Swift in violin. Opera singer. Live out. That's like not recorded. Look at that.
I am back at my hotel. That was one of the most...
Do you know what a fool I would make of myself at that wedding? You can't do a wedding like that and say, we don't want you to be on social media. We want you to enjoy the moment. I'd be like, I would die before I did not let my enemies see on my stories that I am at this place. Like, not even a chance. I'd get some spyware glasses or something. Not even a chance I would not be all over social media if I were invited to that wedding. Okay, you can take the video off. So this was in late November of this year, of 2023. As of this recording, this happened just a couple of weeks ago. So let me read from this article about it. Professional event planners estimate that, first of all, it was dubbed the wedding of the century. It was Madeleine Brockway. She got married to Jacob Legrone, and she is 27. He is 29. Oh, I forgot about this. Listen. Okay, so all this took place in Paris. The rehearsal dinner was at the Paris Opera House. So we just saw that. There was an overnight stay at the Palace of Versailles.
What?
How do you stay overnight there? Who is like, I mean, unless you just hide behind a statue or something. How?
It's like a camp
do you
out?
know how much money it takes to be like, you tell the French, like, hey, we're a bunch of Americans from Florida. Can we stay overnight at your palace? Do you know how many euros you have to throw at them to get them to say oui, oui? Like, I mean, so people estimate that this thing costs like $59 million, this wedding. Yes.
For just a wedding?
Yes.
That's
I think that's low. I think the French would insist on $59 million just to let a bunch of Americans spend the night at the Palace of Versailles.
Yeah, fair.
Right? Okay, no, I'm not done. Did you think I was done?
Oh, definitely not.
We haven't even started on this topic. There was a private concert by Maroon 5.
What?
They had a private, now presumably not, the Paris Opera House. I'm glad that Adam Levine, he's gotten past the, DMing an OnlyFans model, naming his baby after her. He's the one who did that, right? Well, I think he did. Some celebrity, he did that. Good for him. So see, now he's doing private events. It's good for him. So yeah, they think it cost 60 mil. I mean, I think the Dior lunch and the spend the night in the palace, I mean, I think that was 60 mil. Okay, so Madeleine was putting all of this on her social, of course. Like, why do any of this if it's not going to be for social? Then suddenly she makes her Instagram private and deletes her TikTok.
What?
Just days after all of this happened. But she'd been going viral. Everybody was talking about her. Why would she do that? Well, reading from an article here, the groom, the guy she's marrying, the groom is facing a possible life sentence for allegedly shooting at 3 police officers. Legrone, who is 29, they became famous overnight, blah, blah, blah. Just 8 months ago, Legrone was indicted on 3 counts of aggravated assault on a public servant in Texas, a first-degree felony in the state of Texas. On Thursday, November 30th, Legrone appeared at the Tarrant County Courthouse in Fort Worth, where he attended a motion hearing. Wait, Thursday, November 30th? I thought their wedding was like the 26th. I think it was. Oh, no, their wedding was the 18th. So basically, he got back from all of this and then immediately went to face a potential life sentence charge here. So he attended a motion hearing about the charges. His wife was not in attendance. Okay. In August, he was offered a plea bargain deal of 25 years in prison. That's their plea bargain. 25 years in prison. This is Tarrant County. For my non-Texan listeners, I used to live in Tarrant County. Whatever stereotypes you have about Texas law and order, judicial systems, Tarrant County is all of those.
Yeah.
If you are going to do anything in Tarrant County, it better not be shooting at an officer of the law. That's just the one thing that you really don't want to do in Tarrant County. But her husband evidently did. I might have cut back on the wedding a little bit. If I'm not going to see this guy for 25 years, let's just go to the justice of the peace and just get this over with more quickly. I mean, you also think maybe they should have set aside some of that money for a lawyer. How about that? I mean, like, I think this guy has bigger problems than, needing to like get a personally hosted Dior lunch. I mean, this bride was so into it. Was he even there? I didn't even see him. I have so many
questions. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I know. Where do we begin with this?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, because I might think
wedding of the century.
When did he shoot at the officers? Okay,
8 months ago.
Oh, that's right. They did say that.
So like what?
Oh, wait. Okay, so yeah. Let's see. You're right. Okay, 3 counts of in a first degree. I'm trying to find the 8 months ago line in the. I did say that at some point. Of course, now I'm not seeing it. Okay. Oh yeah. However, just 8 months ago, he was indicted. Okay, so the shooting must have been this year. I mean, we're not talking about something that happened 2 years ago. Okay, Caitlin. So think about this.
I'm gonna find the original story.
Yeah, please do. Think about this. They had started planning the wedding when he decided to shoot at police officers, because a wedding like this takes a couple years to plan, at bare minimum 12 months, 14 months, because she had the highest end wedding planners in the world and all that. They get booked up well more than a year in advance. And if you're going to spend the night at a freaking French palace, you don't just hit them up the weekend before. So can you imagine? She is planning her $30 million wedding. And she's like, hey, honey. So here we are. It's October of 2022. Maybe it's September of 2022. And honey, I'm so looking forward to getting married to you. Luckily, my daddy just sold his Mercedes dealerships for roughly $700 million. So we got a little bit of budget to work with here. And I just think that I want to rent out a palace in Paris. I'm going to throw so much money at the esteemed house of Dior that even though they wouldn't typically throw a private brunch for Americans, I'm going to throw so much money at them that they say, oui, come on down. Come on down, Florida people. We love Florida. We love your beautiful state. We've seen Girls Gone Wild. We know that a lot is going on that's positive in Florida. So, okay. So she says to him, honey, I'm so excited about spending our life together and about spending $50 million on our Paris wedding. Could you just not shoot at 3 cops? If that's something that you could do in the lead up to our nuptials, that's really all I ask, actually. I'm not even, you don't have to get help. You don't have to help me plan the wedding. You don't even have to have your bros pick out what they wear, because Dior is going to make all that for them and then just have the clothes in our palatial hotel. I'm not asking anything of you, honey, except that you don't shoot at 3 cops. And he's like, bro, I cannot do that. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just, you can't. He's like, Madeline, you can't. So stop nitpicking my life. Maybe this was their first fight, a year and a half ago. Maybe this was their first fight where he's like, well, if you're going to be controlling like that, I don't know if this marriage is going to work, because I want to shoot at 3 cops. I want to take a rip off the whiskey bottle and be like, yeah, you guys want a piece of me? And like, as a man, I should be able to do that. And if I'm going to have some controlling wife who says that I can't shoot at cops when I want to, then I don't think this marriage is going to work, actually.
It's just not for me,
It's not for me.
I just can't.
The TikTok that I want, I wish Madeleine had gone live on TikTok when she found out what her fiance did while she is planning this wedding. Can you even imagine? I mean, because her first thought was, I'm sure she was concerned for everyone's safety when she found out. I want to be clear, everyone was okay. No, from what I understand, no one was even injured. It was the thought that counts in the judge's eyes. Can you imagine once she found out that everyone was okay, that, her first thought had to be this wedding. Because I would value my fiance's life too But if I'm spending a cool 50 mil on a wedding, my first thought would be, I can't believe, like, you couldn't do it after the wedding. Like, I can't believe that you did this. So he had to fly home from all this, everything you just saw.
I'm surprised they let him leave.
That's a great point.
I mean,
that's a great point. Caitlin knows about the judicial system. That's a great point. How did he get to leave?
That's what I'm confused about.
Did he come back? I mean, maybe that's maybe they just stay in Paris. You know, what is their extradition policy? You know? No,
well,
but
he did. He showed up to court, so he's the fool that left and then came back. So. Yeah,
honestly, that's on Tarrant County. Why did you guys let this guy leave? I mean, because if I were him, I'd just be living at the Dior house. I'd be like, well, you know, you guys invited me for lunch. I am a felon in the U.S. and I'm about to go away for a very long time. So I think I just live here now. How about that? So, okay. So that's the biggest twist of the whole thing, that this guy had to come back and go in front of a Tarrant County judge and ask why he thought that shooting off his firearm would be a good idea. Do you think she thought about canceling all this?
Oh, I think once you're locked into that, you're locked in.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, once the Palace of Versailles has cleared you.
That's probably why they didn't cancel. She's like, well.
Can you imagine the passive aggressive comments?
Oh, yeah.
I would have. We would be standing there. I'd be like, do you know how hard it was to find this many hot women who can play the violin? We had to go to a modeling agency and train them. We got Yo-Yo Ma up in here to train them, and he doesn't even play the violin. He plays the cello. But we were like, they're both string instruments. You can probably figure it out. I mean, and I'd be like, and yeah, all you had to do was not shoot at cops. And like, this could have actually been just a nice wedding. It could have just been like a fairy tale ending, happy ending, but no. And in Texas, no less. Like literally the worst county in the worst place on earth that you could have done that. It would be hard to find a more law and order county on planet Earth. Maybe Alabama has a couple, but maybe. I don't know. Tarrant County in Texas is, I mean, if someone was like,
by the book.
I mean, if someone said, Jen, you're going to do this, thank goodness nobody will be hurt. You can choose any spot on planet Earth, rank order them all, like counties, cities, all of them on planet Earth. And let's say there are 50,000 of them. I'd put Tarrant County, Texas as the last. I'd be like anywhere else. I'd take my chances with the Russians before I would take my chances with the Tarrant County judicial system. So here's the lesson for you. I bring this up. This is relevant to your life. Now, aside from the gunplay angle of this story, I found myself, I didn't like this content. And in fact, I actively disliked it a lot. Not Matt Rife level, but I had a very strong reaction to it. And I thought about it. I said, okay, am I jealous? Do I wish I'd had a ceremony that lasted longer than 7 minutes and I hadn't worn a purple dress and we'd rehearsed anything and had a wedding cake? You know, am I just jealous? And I'm willing to admit it if I am. And I thought, that doesn't really land. I don't want this. I realize that is the thing. I actively am, my reaction to seeing this video is actually fear. There is value in naming your emotions. When you have a strong emotional reaction to something, positive or negative, there is value in stopping what you're doing, name your emotion. You will be surprised at how interesting it is, because you would think my emotion would be jealousy. I don't just yet have the comedy millions, so I must just be bitter. Dior isn't throwing any lunches for me. Mm-hmm. But no, my reaction was fear. My reaction was similar to if I saw some crazy guy jumping off a cliff with just a hang glider and no parachute, or you know how they have those little squirrel suits?
Those ones scare me.
I know. Not a good idea. What's your, okay.
Yep.
Hit the I didn't go on a tangent sound effect. cannot turn this into squirrel suits. We already have like gunplay, the history of Tarrant County, French weddings. Like, yeah, okay. Back on track. Okay. My reaction was fear. And when you have a strong reaction, positively or negatively, to something you see on social media, if you pause and you name that emotion, you will probably discover a core value. We've talked about this in previous episodes. A core value is some truth that you believe about the world, something that is important to you, a guiding principle that is non-negotiable for you. It's one of the big things in your life, your core values. You probably have 3 or 4 of these guiding principles. It's very helpful to understand this about your kids and to understand this about yourself. And sure enough, when I realized that, when I named the revulsion that I was having to this video, I discovered a core value. And I happened to already know that I had this core value. But for those of you who don't do this, who've never done this exercise, you might find it interesting. So for me, I realized that I actively fear the idea of having a tremendous amount of unearned wealth. Meaning, if I had married someone who was a Rockefeller or from, one of those big families, a Carnegie, whatever, and so I just married into some super rich family, I would be the most miserable person on planet Earth. I'd be so depressed. I'd drink twice as much Pims and lemonade as I already do in my London sober lifestyle. I'm sober. Because one of my core values is earning whatever kind of wealth or whatever that you have. I like accomplishment. And I don't mean, I'm not one of those people who's like, I've always worked since I was 14. No, I never worked when I was younger. And I am now banned from the one company that I tried to work for when I was 19. Like, to this day, I'm blacklisted. I'm still banned from there. So it's not exactly that. It's not about, if I buy a stick of gum, I better have worked in the coal mine for that money. It's more like, I have that personality type that I like doing large accomplishments and then being publicly recognized for those accomplishments. So, for example, when the comedy Millions come in, I won't care as much about the wealth per se, as the wealth is simply an acknowledgement that I did something very hard. So I like doing hard things, A, but B, just as important to me, I like being acknowledged by the wider community for doing them. I'm not saying this is a good quality. I'm not saying it's a bad quality. It just is. It just is. And my life has gone a lot more smoothly when I just accepted this about myself. This is one of my core values. So that is why I was revolted by seeing all of this ostentatious wealth, because in the case of the person spending the money, it's like, you didn't do anything for this. Like, you didn't add any value to the world. You didn't put yourself out there. You didn't take a social risk, a financial risk to earn this luxury that you are surrounded by. And my reaction was fear because, again, let's say my last name was Rockefeller and I came from an old money family. That would honestly really bother me because I have this driving core value of accomplishing things and being acknowledged for accomplishing things. If you're a Rockefeller and you make comedy Millions, well, everyone would hate on you. Then they'd be like, well, yeah, we could have done it too if, we had like all that money. That would bother me so much to be in a situation where I could never get credit for doing hard things because people would say, well, yeah, your daddy made $700 million and he was rich before he did that. That would really, really, I mean, like, when I tell you how hard it would be for me to find happiness in life, it cannot be overstated because that's this driving thing for me. I like overcoming challenges and being acknowledged for that. Again, maybe not even the best personality trait, but it is what it is. So if you find yourself just really reacting negatively to something on social media, like you're just hate watching the video over and over again, you're like, I really hate this. Like, I hate this a lot. This really bothers me. Name it. name the emotion, and the emotion, like with me, it might not be what you think it is. When I realized my reaction was fear, not jealousy, like fear that could happen to me. I could accidentally, my father's deceased, but it's like, oh, he actually made 700 million and now it's yours. And I'd be like, but no, now I can't earn it. Caitlin would be like, I can help you with that. Like if you want to just give it all to me like that, I could totally help you with that. So name your reaction and then do a little digging. And I think you might find that you have hit on a core value. And when you know your core values, it will really guide the decisions you make in life. For example, I was talking to one of my kids about this. One of his, the defining core value of him is that he is very independent. He does not want to be told what to do. He manages his life very well, but he highly values independence. And so when he was thinking about next steps in his life, should he join this organization? Should he do this extracurricular thing? We really thought about what is going to help you, given that your core value is independence. You tend to thrive when you don't have a lot of restrictions, when you are not micromanaged. And as we think about career, life plans, things like that, we've realized for this person, he could never be in a situation where he is micromanaged because he has, nobody likes being micromanaged, but it is like the defining thing. He hates not being able to be independent. So when you realize your core values, your kids' core values, it can actually be a super helpful thing. And honestly, starting with what do you hate on social media is a great entree to that subject. All right, we will get to the main topic in just a second, but I want to say we just put up a new episode of the Village Hustle Patreon. Episode 19 is out. I was very stressed out, and I acknowledged this when I recorded that video. I was, I think, yelling at an eyeliner at one point because my stress level is at a max right now. I'm very stressed out. And so I talked on the Village Hustle Patreon about how we need to recognize when we are in our zone of issues, meaning there are problems, and then there are problems that trigger you, meaning this problem is in an area of life where you tend to have a much stronger emotional reaction than you should. And you need to know when you're dealing with a problem like that because it will feel much bigger and darker and scarier than it really should. So we talked about all that. All of the time and money I have spent on therapy, all of the time I have spent seeing everyone from PhD psychologists to headband wearing hippies is now put at your service in this episode of the Village Hustle Patreon. There are new episodes out every week, and when you join, you get access to all the archives as well, and also the basic level of Patreon where you get the after party after each episode, which we will do after we're done with this episode as well. Patreon.com/thisisjen. That's Jen with one N. Patreon.com/thisisjen, and the link is also in the show notes. Okay. I have an exciting announcement to make. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf and I are actually the same person. Now you might not, you might think, oh, well, on the surface, I wouldn't have guessed that. Have you ever seen the two of us in the same room? Have you ever seen me and DK Metcalf in the same room? See, I think not. So that's a big reveal. We're actually the same person. Okay, we at least shared the same brain. And this is why, listen, I am constantly pitching you guys, you have got to follow football a little bit. You need to follow football just a little bit because you are missing out on so much great drama. And this leads into the main topic for today. This man, my hero, if it weren't for YouTube copyright infringement, I would be playing Wind Beneath My Wings right now. This man has learned sign language so that when he scores a touchdown, he can trash talk the other team without getting in trouble. Because the NFL rules say you can't taunt the other team, but he found a loophole. They didn't say you can't sign it. It's verbal. They said no verbal taunting. Okay, this man learned another language so that he can talk trash. That's literally me. Listen, I mean, one day someone's going to be like, Jen, I didn't know that you speak fluent Creole, that fascinating, very nuanced language. It's a mix of French and various African languages. It's very difficult to learn. When did you learn to speak fluent Creole? And I'd be like, well, one of my haters lives in New Orleans, and I just wanted to make sure I covered all the bases. I'd speak the click language, the tongue people. If I had an enemy in that tribe, I'd speak that language so that I could better convey to them why they suck. Like, I'm that level of petty. Play this video. Caitlin, this is a JF on YouTube.com. This is DK Metcalf. He's just scored a touchdown. And what makes this even better is the gal who is the NFL commentator, her little, she interprets the regular spoken interpretation of what he says. And it's also beautiful and wonderful. What a time to be alive. Caitlin, play the video.
He's saying in sign language, standing on business. That's slang for taking care of your responsibilities, which was
Yeah.
Well, I found it, someone whiter than me. That's slang for taking care of your responsibilities. Like, wow. I feel so street compared to her. I feel so like,
I didn't
wow.
know that taking care of business was slang.
Yeah. That's slang for taking care of your responsibilities. No, it's standing on business.
That's right, standing on business.
And I think that's a Drewski. I think I heard that. Drewski is a viral content creator. I think that's I want to say Drewski popularized that. He popularized everything. So Metcalf signs standing on business, and then in a previous game on the defense, number 44 was supposed to block him. And Metcalf just pushes right past him, scores the touchdown. And then he signs in sign language, number 44, my son.
I love this guy.
That man is my hero. Number 44, my son, like as a condescending, take your son to work day kind of comment. Because if he had said that, if he had gotten up in his face and been like, how you like that, son, he would have been fined.
Yeah.
They could have gotten a 15-yard penalty. So he says it in ASL. Number 44, my son, after getting past number 44 to score a touchdown. I'm putting him on my fantasy football team next year.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Just I don't even care what his stats are. I just want to. I know Caitlin and I. Yeah, we'll see who gets first pick in the draft. But see, what Caitlin doesn't know is my team is terrible this year. Actually, she does know this. So maybe I'll get. Oh, is that how it works? Will I get first pick in the draft because I'm terrible? Or is it just no? It's just
I
random.
have zero idea how that works.
Never mind.
I just know
I'm one spot away
It's
from
a
making the playoffs. and
tiered or something. I don't remember.
Did you know, Caitlin, I'm number 7 in our league now? My team, the Mermaids, crushed it. I got the most points in our league this past week.
I did not know that.
I got more points.
You only need one more
everyone.
place and you hit the playoffs.
Exactly.
We got to win.
I know. So now, right. So anyway,
This is
okay.
where it comes down.
This is actually related. My tangent about our fantasy football league is actually related. If you do not have good drama in your life, you will create bad drama. There is this idea, it is very prevalent everywhere, especially in any kind of spiritual or faith-based communities. And I will say everyone does it. The Wiccans, the hippies, the universe crowd, and the Catholic ghetto. Everyone gets in on it. They're all like, we just believe in no drama. My day is just peace every day. And all I do is I have my green smoothie shake and I go work out and I take my ice bath and I don't have any drama in my life. First of all, why be alive? I mean, if that's literally all you're doing, why be alive? But 2, for those of us who are creating communities, listen, there's going to be some drama. I mean, that's when you have people around. It just generates a certain amount of drama. And if you're trying to live this influencer life where all you're doing is staring at sunrises and sunsets while you drink your protein shake, you're not going to have enough healthy drama to kind of override and see you through the more negative kinds of drama that naturally arise when you're living in a family, in a community, in a village. So here's a practical way that this comes into our life is I was actually talking about this on Katie Prejean McGrady. She's actually the one, she now has the job that I had at SiriusXM, but she also does a podcast, and I was on her Side Hustle podcast, and I was talking about how the more I bring my kids into my career, I find that the healthy it is for our family and for our family dynamic. And I realized when I was talking to Katie, something clicked, that there is drama in my career, that as there is in any career. Anytime you have a goal that you are trying to meet, if you work at an accounting firm and you would like to get a raise or a promotion, there's going to be some drama there. You have a goal, and it's probably not going to be easy to get that goal, or else you would have already gotten it. And in the process of trying to get to that place, there is going to be drama. That is a really good and healthy kind of drama. It's the kind of drama that, you know, the guys who were Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, is that, anyway, I want to give his Sherpa friend credit too. Those two guys who were the first to climb Mount Everest. I mean, one way of saying what they went through is it was drama. No one had ever done it before. They were like, it's so cold. There's no oxygen. And now there's a freaking rock in our way. And a cliff. And now there's a crevasse. I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the top of this mountain. And now it's windy. I mean, drama. It was drama. Anytime you are trying to hit any kind of goal, there will be drama. If, let's say right now you are out of shape and overweight and you want to start running, you want to start getting into jogging, there's going to be drama. You know, you go outside and it starts raining just on your first day. Or there's a hole in your shoes, or you step in dog poop when you're out for a run, or whatever. Or you run into a chatty neighbor just as you're coming around the corner. Anytime you try to hit any kind of goal, there will be drama. And I would like to make the case that if your goal is something constructive, if it's following any kind of blue flame, if it's adding love and goodness and creativity to the world, or frankly, if it's adding money to your bank account, let's be real, I would say that is a good kind of drama. And the great thing about good drama is it attracts your attention. I get so busy. Why are you? Hey, Pammy, I'm sorry. My daughter just walked in. Is there a reason that you just walked in? Okay, bye. Yeah, can you? Okay, speaking of drama, Pammy, you can come in. I don't know why. You can sit in here if you want. Speaking of drama, so I would say that kind of good, constructive drama gives you something to work with that distracts you from the negative drama. In fact, hey, Pammy, actually come in here. I have a question for you. Pammy's in junior high. So it just occurred to me, we have a drama expert here with us. We have a drama expert. Junior high, a lot of drama. Because I have found that the bigger I set my goals in my career, the more I have difficult things that I'm trying to accomplish. Yeah, I'm having an allergic reaction too. The more I just naturally, I don't want to be involved in negative drama, because honestly, the drama part of my brain is just like maxed out. It's like I just, even if I might want to, I can't get involved with like that lady in the neighborhood is mad at the other lady who has a dog. I just can't, because like the drama part of my brain is maxed out with my goals in my career. So Pammy, would you like to come over to the mic? Actually, yeah, you can share the chair with Miss Caitlin there.
Here, you can actually have it.
Okay. So Pammy, you are in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And do you find that a lot of people your age that seem to be kind of addicted to drama?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
You definitely see that?
Yes.
So the point that I am making in this fine podcast episode, and I'm going to assign you a Christmas break research project called How is Mom's Podcast Free? We can't figure it out. I'm going to need 10 pages of research on that. The point I'm making in this fine podcast episode is that I think a lot of people, they end up getting involved in bad drama, in negative drama, because they don't have any positive drama. They're not setting goals. They're not building towards anything. So it all ends up being this catty, why did she wear that skirt? Whatever. Does that resonate with you as a professional junior high student?
I actually find it really funny that you say that, because on these two girls' Instagram stories, these are not their real names. We're gonna call them Kayla and Layla. I don't know. Okay. Their names just both start with a K and an L. Okay. So Kayla and Layla. Kayla wore like a shirt, but like it went like that. And then Layla, again, not her actual name. And imagine it's spelled like Aligh. Okay. So Kayla, and then Layla was talking to her friends, and she was like, "Oh my God, why is she wearing her shirt like that? She looks like a stripper." And then they told her friends, and then Kayla's like, "Yeah, she's a B word" on her story.
And my daughter, who's in 7th grade, has never heard those words before and never been on social media before. Wow, this is all so brand new to her. Okay, go ahead.
And so it's just like, it's really not that deep, I feel like.
Yeah.
And they just got so mad over it. And then like if anybody like wears something that they don't like, they're like, "Why did they wear that? That's really weird."
And doesn't it seem like, Pammy, let's say they found some passion. Let's say they started a pet rescue organization and they were out, saving kitties who didn't have a home or something. Doesn't it kind of feel like they wouldn't have time for this? They wouldn't even have time to notice what other people are wearing, because they would have this positive, constructive drama of saving the kitties.
Yeah, because like it's just all they do at lunch is like they just sit there and they yap and they yap. Like,
well, thank you for weighing in as the resident drama expert, as a professional junior high student. You can head out. There are juice boxes. And
something else I don't say is, I think the reason that they get so mad when other people wear something else is because, like, by the way, if you put every popular girl in front of me and made me name them, like, I couldn't, because they for Twin Day, every popular girl twins, and they wear the same braid. Like, they wear 2 braids behind their back, a pink Nirvana like hoodie, and Nike shorts. I can't tell them apart. Do you know how embarrassing it is if I'm like, "Hey, Jella, did you do the Spanish homework?" And she's like, "I'm a Brooke," and I'm like, okay.
I mean, this podcast goes on YouTube, right? So
yeah, but they're not their real names.
Okay. I mean, that wouldn't it be horrible if this podcast went viral? Like, I get 1 million YouTube followers overnight, and then everyone at your junior high sees that.
How much they suck. Yeah, except for
Pammy is standing on business. We'll use the DK Metcalf. She's going to stand on business. So yeah. She's like, "I don't care if people from my junior high see this."
And
okay, all right.
I just have one more thing to say.
Uh-oh.
And if anyone from my junior high sees this and you pushed me in the hallways, you know who you are, because that's why
someone pushed you in the hallway.
Everyone pushed you in the hallway. Anyways, I'm not done, and I just want to say, I know all your class periods, and I'm gonna push you down the stairs if you ever do.
No.
Kidding.
Okay, so boy, well, this wasn't a planned segment. Pammy has never committed violence against another child,
I have not.
and she never would.
It's a joke.
It's yes. Okay, well, thank you, Pammy. You can go have juice boxes now. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. A little bit of a hyperbole from my child there.
I love God. I would never do
Okay, great. She loves God. She wanted to end on that. You know what? I need to look up one time when she was little, when she was 4 or 5, I had her on my live SiriusXM radio show, and I said like, "Do you have a prayer intention or something?" And she said something crazy, and I forget what it was. And it was live, no editing anything out. So yeah, that I should have known the direction that would go. But listen, when you foster positive drama in your life by trying to meet some sort of goal, and you bring your family into it, you will find that it is a pressure release valve for other types of drama. I really believe that the reason that I have very little drama with my 4 teenage girls. Pammy's almost a teenager. So let's just say, for all intents and purposes, I live in a small 3-bedroom house with 4 teenage girls. Everybody shares rooms. Everybody shares spaces. All 6 kids share a bathroom. I mean, one of them is off to college, but he just left for college. So effectively, we have had 6 kids sharing one bathroom, and they rarely fight. Well, the 2 youngest, there are sometimes some issues there, but for the most part, these kids just don't fight. The teens really never fight. They don't fight with me. They don't fight with each other. And I think part of it is I'm always bringing them into the drama from my world. I'll be, this is not a recent example. I'm intentionally using something from a different time when I'd be like, I'd burst in the door and be like, if they think that they are going to spend half of my marketing budget on these garbage ads that benefit their other clients, and they think I'm not going to notice, and they think I'm going to get away with it, and and they think they're going to get away with it, and then my kids would jump in and be like, they can't get away with that, and I'd be like, I know. What should I say in the email? Should I email them, or should I text so-and-so? Should I be like, oh, I saw this ad that wasn't really about my product, but I know it came out of my marketing budget. I mean, my kids would get involved with this, and they'd help me solve the problems. They know which comedians I like and don't like. We talk about the Matt Rife thing all the time, but my hatred of people who I view as competitors or in my space, it is like a cornucopia. My pettiness is a horn of plenty. It is like the pilgrims, at Thanksgiving, we have the horn of plenty with all of this just rich, these vegetables, these seasonal foods spilling from it to symbolize abundance. My hatred of people in my field is a horn of plenty. I mean, it's not just Matt Rife. There are plenty of other people spilling out from that cornucopia. And my kids know about all that. And they know the people who I really like, who have been so good to me, and they're friends, and I'm just so rooting for them. And so we talk about it all the time. And then my kids tell me the goings on at their school, who's dating whom, and what popular kid did this, and what teacher got in trouble because she said this one thing to a student. So we keep ourselves pretty entertained with drama that does not involve conflict between us, and it doesn't involve conflict that they are in. One of the things that I do shut down and encourage them to shut down is if there is drama where there's a lot of acrimony between them and another person, and it's toxic and people are unfriending each other. I always say, look, you don't want to get involved in that. I don't actually find that interesting to hear about, because I know where that ends. It's just so nasty and negative and toxic, and I just don't get involved in that. All the drama that I like is either about situations I'm not even involved in. If I hear about something going on in my industry, it's just kind of interesting to hear about, but I'm not involved. This has nothing to do with me. So it's either stuff that we're not involved in, or it relates to building, to goals. So the reason, again, referring to something that happened a long time ago, not a recent situation, I was very mad about how a marketing budget was spent, because I was building towards something. I wanted to get this particular message out there. I felt like a lot of dollars had been wasted. And so there was ultimately a positive thrust behind it. And the other thing is, I didn't start anything personal with the people involved. When I was talking to the kids about it, I didn't insult these people personally. I'm still friends with the people who were involved in that business situation. But there was drama because I was very upset about the situation and the way that certain money was spent without me knowing about it. So I think those are the hallmarks of good drama. Frankly, I think that following a bit of drama, whether it's celebrity drama, people in your industry that you're not involved with, what's going on at your kids' schools, as long as you don't get too into it, as long as you're not too addicted to that kind of drama, I think that can be good, clean fun to just hear about the dumb stuff that other people get into. Again, as long as you're not personally involving yourself in it, and as long as you're not, getting kind of addicted to constantly hearing about things that might not ultimately be positive. But the best kind of drama is when the drive behind it is that you are building. The drive behind it is that you're trying to put something good out there into the world. Let's say you love to bake and some other women in your neighborhood love to bake. And so you're starting a baking club where you each bake and decorate cookies and you exchange them, and it's a fun thing to do for the holidays. There will probably be some drama there. And of course, you want to make sure that you're not ending friendships, you're not whipping up people's emotions for no good reason. But there's going to be some challenges. Just, this person said they were going to come over today, and then this person invited someone who I didn't know they were going to come, and they were kind of rude to me. Don't stir up negative interpersonal feelings, but do embrace the quote unquote drama that is just the challenges that come with trying to build something. It's fun and it's good. And when you foster that good kind of constructive drama in your life, you will find that you just don't have the energy to belabor that fight with your mother-in-law, to listen to, the text from your dramatic friend about, you'll never believe what so-and-so was saying about you. You'll be like, honestly, I don't have time for it. I'm trying to build this cookie baking thing. I'm really busy with it. I don't care what so-and-so said about me. I don't have time for that kind of drama. And that's the kind of place that you will get in when you foster good, constructive drama in your life. That is it for this episode. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/thisisjen. And when I'm on tour, you can find tour tickets at jfcomedytour.com. But after tonight, I am actually not on tour for a while. You cannot see me live for quite a while because I'm standing on business, doing lots of stuff behind the scenes. And I will be back with you next week here on The Jen Fulwiler Show.